Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday night panel on this very dark Monday night. So, a couple of things from me before we bring on Vic. Our Prospect Hospice badges, we've now got stock in, so if anybody would like one of those, they are available to purchase on our website. And a save the date from us, the 3rd of December, which is a Wednesday, live in the Legends Lounge, we are getting together some of the 1920 championship team. So your Richie Wellens team. So we've got a few that have confirmed already, including Richie. And we're still working on getting the others. Obviously, the ones that are still playing, it's a bit more difficult. But there should be quite a few in there. So the tickets will go on sale in the next week or so. But just put a date in your diary, 3rd of December. At 7 p.m. start, and that'll be the 2019-2020 championship team. Okay, so let's bring Vic on.
Hi, Chris.
Hello. You okay?
Hiya. Yeah, also on sale, I should say, in the club shop are this year's Poppy badges with the club crest next side. Now, I know they're very, very popular and obviously collector's items as well, but the main priority, of course, is to give funds to the Royal British Legion. So they're on sale now. And, of course, we have our Remembrance game coming up on the 8th of November. More details next week. SAS travel news for you. Rotherham and Fleetwood are now both sold out. So there are no seats available for the coaches for those particular games. Only seats available at the moment are for MK Dons in the Virtue Motors Trophy. That's on the 11th of the 11th. As we know, that's Armistice Day. Members, £20, non-members, £22. And if you are going to Rotherham on SAS on Saturday, the buses leave West Swindon at 8:15 and the Nigel Eady County Ground at 8:45. And we should say in the introduction today, you saw pictures of Glenn Hoddle, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Glenn. Yeah.
The great Don Rogers, of course, who was 80 on Saturday. What a player. And also what a player, Annie Colston, whose birthday was yesterday. So 3 very, very good players for Swindon Town Football Club over the years. Birthdays this weekend.
And talking of the women's team, they had a 1-0 win yesterday in the Cup, and we are very privileged to have the goal scorer who took us into round 2, of which the draw is taking place as we speak. So let's bring Taylor McDonald on. If I can do it. There we go. There she is.
Great.
Brilliant. Hi, Taylor.
Hiya.
You okay?
All good.
All good.
Good.
Right. I'm going to leave you with Vic, and I will see you later.
Okay, Chris. Thanks very much indeed. Right. Let's sort of cut to the chase regarding yesterday. A difficult game in terms of, first of all, the team that you were playing, and also the conditions. How tough was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was tough in the end. I think first half was a good half by us, and I think obviously second half it went a bit more difficult in the circumstances. Obviously, the weather was also very, very cold, but also going down to 10 men didn't really help.
Obviously, also, yeah, I was going to say, going down to 10 players, that must have been difficult. And what was your view of the sending off?
Personally, I didn't really see the challenge. I was looking at the ball and already running to the other side of the pitch, so I didn't really see anything of it personally.
What about yesterday's performance? So this team's going from strength to strength. Dulwich, obviously a decent side that you played. What is it about this side at the minute?
I just think we're just such a together group. I think we've just built like good connections over the games we've been winning. A few of us have been together quite a few years now. I think the people we're bringing in as well are just contributing a lot to the team, and obviously winning as well also helps.
Let's talk about you a little bit then. Player of the Year last season, I think. How important was that for you?
I think it was honestly like such a privilege to have them opinions from my the other players, to think them of me as their player of the year. So I can't really complain about anything like that.
No, it's a great honour to have, isn't it? Particularly for your peers, which is a thing. Your goal was direct from a corner. Now, according to Richard Wood, your manager, you are you are a dead ball specialist. Is that true to say?
I wouldn't say that, no. He's just being nice there, I think.
But you do put a lot of practice in, don't you?
I do, yeah. I do quite enjoy doing them kind of things in my own time.
And you're obviously a freestylist. Are you still doing that?
Yep, still freestyling on the side as well. A few shows here and there.
And how does that work? Do you get bookings? Do people book you for the parties and things like that?
Pretty much. They go through my agent. If they need me or anything, I can do like shows, do some adverts here and there as well, Boy Dublin, all that kind of stuff.
Did you do the Junior Reds Christmas party a few years ago?
I did, briefly,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. I do remember that, yes. Sean says 100% winning record so far. Well done, girls. That's an extraordinary record, isn't it, at this time of the season? Almost in November, but 100%.
Yes, I think this is something we've been wanting to do like since pre-season. We've been grinding and trying to get these results to go in our favour, and I think we've done all we can to keep it going. And I think there's no time to stop now. I think we're going to go all the way, hopefully.
Well, let's talk about your career, because you made your debut, I think, on the 20th of August, 23 against Abingdon. So You've been at the club a little while. You're there till next year. I mean, that's when you're there too. I mean, presumably you want to stay at Swindon for as long as possible.
Yeah. I mean, if we keep winning all these games, we're going to have
to. So take us through the change room in terms of the team spirit then. What's that like? I know the bus is a good place for you. I've inside information from the bus driver. I had a little chat with him the other week, but you have a bit of fun on the bus, don't you?
Yes, we do. There's always something going on, something being spoken about, music on all the time, games being played. Same as in the dressing room, music's always on, always having a laugh.
What about your goal then? Tell us about it. How did it come about?
I think obviously from our corners we work on hitting specific areas, obviously hitting front post, hitting back post. We planned to hit one front post, and I've just gone to hit it front post and don't know what the keeper was doing, but it's kind of gone right for our arms. Personally, from my view, I thought I hit it short and I thought it was going inside netting, but just kept going into the goal.
Well, we saw a picture of you at the beginning with your reaction. You were pretty pleased.
Very, yeah.
1-0 is always a dangerous scoreline. 2, long way to go, especially down with 10 players. But the spirit in this side seems to enable you to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've been in this situation before, and I think we just know what we're doing now. We've had it once before, we can do it again. I think the girls know that as well.
Well, just to take you through what's happening in the draw, they're talking to people at the minute, so we could be here till midnight at this rate. Swindon are ball number 17. The tie is on the 23rd of November. There are 15 ties in the northern section and then 13 in the southern section. I'm not quite sure why it's like that, but anyway, that's what it is. 15 in the northern group, 13 in the south. Any particular team you'd fancy, or are you quite happy to take anyone on?
I think we could take anyone. I think we give it our best go.
Because you got Bristol Rovers tomorrow night in the league, and then you got Worthing at home at the weekend. Sean's also said, who do you feel is your biggest test upcoming in the league?
I think tomorrow's game will be one of the bigger ones. I think, like looking at last season's league table and the results, I think obviously Bristol Rovers, Moneyfields and us were all up there. So I think them two will be the big games.
It's at the Mem tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so have you played there before?
Yeah, last season we played there. I think we ended up drawing 1-1.
So you're quite happy to go to the Memorial Ground and play there. That's not a problem for you. Of course, we go there with a senior man in a few weeks' time. So local derbies for, fast and furious. What about Worthing? What do you know about them?
Again, last season, I think we beat them both times by quite a good scoreline, actually. I think it will be a good game. I think hopefully plenty of goals being scored again.
What about your career so far? Because you were at Southampton, Reading and Portsmouth. Take it through how it started.
Yeah, I was at Southampton when I was younger. started off there, my first academy, and then made the move to Reading just before college, and was in their programme all through college and in and out the first team here and there until I went to Portsmouth, and just to get some minutes really, play some women's football, you could say, and enjoyed it, to be fair. It was very good down there.
Because you're from Salisbury, I think, originally, aren't you?
Yeah.
So were you drawn more towards Southampton than you were Swindon and the southern clubs, as it were?
Yeah, I think it was more about who we kind of like, the big names really. Like, those are the only big names we were hearing about from where I was from. So that's where we were kind of drawn to.
Do you follow Swindon in the league? Are you a Swindon fan, or where would your loyalties lie?
Not directly with Swindon, but now that I'm here, they definitely do lie there.
And do you get to the games on the Saturday, say?
Not always, no.
No. They're just beginning the draw. Now, I'm not sure whether they're doing the northern group or the southern group first. So it's the southern group first. So we'll find out hopefully before too much longer. Bridgewater United have come out first. You haven't got them, so you're all right. You can miss Bridgewater United. They're at home against Royston Town. Let's hope Swindon come out pretty soon. As you've already said, you don't really care who you've got. I know nice local derby, though, against that team up the A420 would be nice, beginning with O, wouldn't it?
I mean, we've done it before, and I'm sure we can beat them again.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still drawing it. You still haven't come out. So very kindly, they're doing a southern group first, which is good. In terms of the cup competitions and the league, where do you just want to win every game?
I think that's the goal, to be fair. Yeah, just keep winning.
And over the course of a long season, how difficult is that to do?
Oh, obviously for any team, it would be very much impressive. But I think, I mean, the girls that we've got, I think everyone's like on the same mindset. They want to do the same thing. We want to keep winning. So I think that will help us.
And there's some good young players coming through. I mean, say young, you're not that old either, but there are some good young players coming through too, aren't there?
There are indeed. There always is.
And what does Richard Wood bring?
I think Rich obviously brings a lot of togetherness. Like, he wants everyone to do things together. He brings us all together and all that kind of stuff.
They're still drawing. You haven't quite come out yet. Boas and Pitsea have just come out. I've no idea who they are, but you haven't got them either. Do you know most of these teams? Have you played against some of them?
A few, yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody's waiting with a bated breath. And that's Dartford have just come out. So they're at home. And let's see who they've got. Not you. You've escaped Dartford and the trip to Kent. Keynsham have got Dartford. So you're getting close to the end of this one. It must be coming up soon. 23 has just come out of the hat, and that's Exeter City at St. James Park, I'm pretty sure, but you haven't got them either. So let's see who they've got. Chatham Town at home. So you must be pretty close to finding out who Swindon have got in the next round. We're still waiting for you to come out. Number 17 is what we're looking for. There are a few balls left. And number 20 it's the team beginning with O. So I've got a feeling you may have the other team beginning with O, but we'll find out in just a minute. Because this is a bit delayed, I think, on YouTube. But we're waiting to see who it is. You still haven't come out. You might be last drawn out. Bristol Rovers are at home. And you haven't got them either. That's number 10 has just come out. That's Fulham. So there are a few balls left. It's just want to know, don't you? Just want to go and get this over with. It's a bit like pulling teeth. Oxford City at home. And it's Swindon. You got Oxford City away. So what do you think about that?
Couldn't be any better, I don't think, actually. Don't mind that one.
You happy with that?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Have you played them before?
Don't think so, no.
Okay, well, that's the 23rd of November. You've got Bristol Rovers away tomorrow in the league. You've got Worthing at home on Sunday with a 2:00 kickoff, and then away to Oxford City the following on the 23rd of November. So busy old time coming up for you, Taylor.
Yeah, of course. Wouldn't have any other way.
Excellent. Well, very good. Well done. And keep on going. And because we're enjoying the way you're going this season, and you're playing some fantastic football. So we're really pleased for you.
Thank you. That's great.
Okay.
And all the
very
best.
best.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll see you Sunday. So
thank you. See ya.
Take
all
care.
the best to you.
Bye-bye.
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 So there you are, Chris. It took a while, but they came out against...
Hey, how did you know before anybody else?
Yeah. The third from the end, which is always the way of it, isn't it, in a draw? But anyway, now we know Oxford City away, 23rd of November. That's what will happen in the second round of the Women's FA Cup for Swindon Town, following their win yesterday against... Who did they play yesterday? Forgotten already. Dulwich Hamlet. Dulwich
Hamlet.
Yeah, Dulwich Hamlet.
There was a lot of away supporters there yesterday.
It's a famous old club, isn't it? Yeah.
A lot of noisy away supporters. They had a bell. Yeah. Right, I'm going to bring everybody else on now.
Okay.
So we've got Craig, we've got Andy, and we've got Belinda. There we go. Right,
Hello.
I'll see you later.
Right, so after that very elongated Women's FA Cup second round draw, glad they didn't do the northern section first. We'd have been here until midnight, quite frankly. So anyway, Oxford City away, not the other lot, but Oxford City on the 23rd of November. Belinda, welcome. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Did you go Saturday?
I did.
Excellent. Yeah. Andy, I know you did because you sat behind me. So I know you were there. Craig, though, you were doing other things. Tell us exactly what you were doing on Saturday.
Oh, I was... Hello from Kirkintilloch on the outskirts of Glasgow. I had planned to travel up to see Thurso versus Orkney in the North Caledonian League, but because of the extreme winds, the ferry from Orkney was cancelled. So the Thurso game was off. And then I thought, well, I'll go to the next nearest ground, which was Halkirk, and they were playing Fort William. And that was postponed as well because it was still a bit windy. So I ended up diverting to Wick, which is also a long way north, frankly. It's not far from John O'Groats, but I'd had a hotel booked at Thurso. So I went to Wick Academy versus Benburb, which was an interesting 1-1 draw in the cup. And so that was a long day out. It's a long way away. It's a good 6-hour drive to get there, but that was fun. And I was watching the updates on the Swindon Town game as I was at this game I was at, and that was 0-0, and we were 0-0. So there weren't many goals around, but long day Saturday, long day.
But you had this sort of sad side of football in many respects, don't you? And it does put anything into perspective. So tell us what happened.
Oh yeah. I was. It was during the penalty shootout after extra time, and the elderly gent stood next to me in his 80s, kind of staggered a little bit and fell into a one of the kind of the uprights holding the stand, the roof of the stand up, and just kind of hugged it and looked back at me, and I kind of realised he was having a stroke. So during the penalty shootout, there's this poor guy who is clearly in a lot of distress. But you do the things you have to do. The penalty shootout was just kind of by the by. But what was amazing is the paramedics were there within 10 minutes, which was incredible. So I was making the phone call, and the phone call lasted 8 minutes, and you go through all the things you do. You answer the questions, and I just kind of put the phone down. There was people around him helping him, but the paramedics arrived 2 minutes later. So I don't know how he was, but he was in safe hands. And the thing is that the response was really quick. So it just puts football in perspective, doesn't it? Really, life's too short to go to bed on an argument and to react, too positively or negatively if your team wins or loses. But that was a kind of so it was a long day, and then that happened at the end, and it was just kind of I just need to sit down and have a stiff cup of coffee to recover. But but there you go. So life's short, love your loved ones, and support your team, but it's not the end of the world if you lose. But But anyway, so Benburb go through to the next round. Wick were knocked out, and they've got a plum home tie against a big side, but I can't believe they're playing now. But that's the joy of the Scottish FA Cup.
Well, best wishes to all concerned. Obviously, a very a very sad experience for those concerned. Right, we're going to get into this then. On Saturday, it was Swindon Town 0, Colchester United 0. Attendance 8,542. The referee was Lee Doughty. The assistant referees, Bhupinder Gill and Oliver Nolan, and the fourth official was Harley Hetherington. Swindon played with a 3-4-3, Ripley in goal, Wright, Mabetti and Wilson Brown across the back. Knight Labelle coming on for Mabetti on 78. There was a yellow for Wilson Brown and McGregor coming on 66 for him. In the middle, Snowden, Clark, Kilkenny and Munro. Tom Nichols replacing Munro, got injured on 59. And then up front, Bowden, who was replaced by Palmer on 66. Drinnan, and then Oldacre, who Glatzel came on for on 78 minutes. Andy, it wasn't the greatest of games, but Kevin asked, can the panel explain the booing on Saturday? It was embarrassing leaving. We are joint top and the manager was right to complain. Take us through your thoughts.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with the booing Saturday. There's no, I've never, ever booed at a football match, even with a very bad results in the past and performances in the past. I just don't think it's just not right. It's just not right at all. No one goes out there to play badly. Everyone goes out there to try and win the game. Whether you get it wrong, whether, things just don't run right, that's another matter. But booing, I think, is just totally out of order. We're top of the league, or joint top of the league. You're always going to get bad games. I can remember even back in the 85-86 season, when we won the league with 102 points. I think I can remember, if I'm right in saying, we played Hereford and won 1-0 at home, and it was a blimmin' awful game, and we were terrible that day. Yet we went on and won the league with 102 points. So, you're always going to get below par performances. I don't think Saturday's was particularly low par. I think there was two evenly matched sides. Colchester were on the back of a run of 4 straight wins, so they're not a bad side. And, we didn't concede. Whereas, they went up to Grimsby and they beat them 2-1. So I think, you've just got to put things into perspective a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and also Ian Holloway said afterwards, didn't he, that those were the sort of games that win you promotion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Belinda, what was your view of it?
I mean, I do not understand the booing at all, especially not for this game. Like, it was a game where I don't even think we played that badly. We didn't play the best that we have been this season, because the best we've played has been really brilliant. But we by no means were bad. It was Colchester, you've got to give them props. They pressed us constantly.
Yeah, they did.
They would not let us get any passes in. They would not let us do what we needed to do in order to actually create goals and create chances. So for the booing to then happen in a situation where it was just kind of a classic 0-0 where not really that much happened, doesn't make sense. It's almost booing out of boredom, maybe, or booing because you're expecting a win. I don't really get it. I am still perfectly happy with how this season's going at the moment. Obviously, we're not on the best streak of a loss and 2 draws, but we'll hopefully bounce back. And if we don't, then that's when we'll start getting concerned. But at this stage, there's no need for it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that you maybe sort of chunter under your breath and say, well, that wasn't great, was it? It's that simple. But then you sort of get in the car and you go home, don't you? And move on, really, to the next one. I think that's the best way of looking at it. I suppose people would say, well, we're perfectly entitled to do that if we want to. What's your view on it, Craig? I know you weren't there, but booing generally.
Well, I have booed Swindon before, not often. I'm by far from a happy clapper, but we were shocking. The last game I went to was Accrington away, and we were shocking then. And what's interesting, as Belinda said, Accrington pressed as well. And I said to you at half time, Vic, that Accrington out Hollowayed us. I think that they pressed in the way that we've been pressing all season. So I think that's an interesting thing. I think, but no, I mean, it's we're having a bit of a dip. All teams, there's always a dip in a season. We're still a heck of a lot better off than we were this time last year, and we are still joint top. I think if we were to lose the next league game, then I think we will start to, we will fall down the lead, because it's there's a kind of concertinaing behind us. But in terms of booing, I think that was probably unnecessary. Really, I think we didn't get beat. We kept a clean sheet, which we've not done for a little while. We're still joint top. But if you're going to boo, you save it for the really catastrophically bad performances. And there've been a few of those over the years. But I think 0-0 at home to Colchester when we're second on goal difference is not one of those occasions, frankly.
Well, you mentioned 12 months ago. This time 12 months ago, we were 22nd with 12 points from 14 games. The corresponding match was the 26th of October 2024. Swindon won, Gillingham won. If you remember, Ian Holloway just been appointed. Harry Smith on 90 plus 3 minutes. Grant Hall got sent off after 8 minutes. So Swindon played well over 80 minutes with 10 men and still got a point right at the death. So that was 12 months ago, 22nd with 12 points from 14 matches. I mean, my sort of OCD part of me wanted to be 23rd 12 months ago, so you could actually draw the correlation between 23rd and 2nd, and that would have pleased me greatly. But as it is, that's fine. But the views of the backdrops are in. This is from John, of course, who regularly votes. Evening all, first rate from Andy. Great effort. Understated by Craig, but I'm sure those pennants are Swindon Town related. They are. I can just about see them. Belinda, I won't go any further. See you all see you all tomorrow, probably with the exception of Craig. Good old John. Yes, doesn't mean it, honestly. I was not happy with the game Saturday, says Mark, but booing was out of order. STFC. I thought the draw was a fair result Saturday. Two evenly matched teams playing the same formation, both with good players, says Anthony. Stephen says 3-4 performances in a week, hopefully just a blip. Teams were evenly matched, so who were they booing, us or Colchester? Let's have a look. Hi, Matt. There wasn't much booing, really. This is a deflection from the gaffer from 3 substandard performances. I think they're all falling for it. Seems a bit blown out of proportion. I mean, what was your reaction to when you heard what Ian Holloway had to say, Andy?
A little bit surprised, I suppose, because you don't expect him to come out, all guns blazing, if you like. But he had a point. I don't think it was a deflection, to be perfectly honest. I think he's the sort of person who would hold his hands up if it was a bad performance, and he has done in the past. As for there wasn't much booing, well, I know where we were in the Arkle stand, there seemed to be a hell of a lot of booing, a lot that I heard anyhow. So, and that would have been where he was, just below the Arkle stand. So, yeah, for me, I don't think it's a deflection. They're a young side. I can understand why he said what he did. He's a very passionate guy, isn't he? So, I can understand it.
Did you hear much, Belinda? I mean, I must admit, I'm extraordinarily hard of hearing, so as Andy well knows. But did you hear much?
I'm in the Don Rogers, so I'm on the other side. I didn't hear that much. I heard like a blip, but I wasn't aware of maybe quite how much was going on the Arkles. But I didn't really hear that much. But also from our side, it was actually just a lot of clapping, people clapping the players as they come round. So it might have just been cancelled out by the noise.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. If this is our blip that every team has, I'll take draws, which is something we haven't done this season. We haven't had a draw until Tuesday. Now we got 2 on the bounce. There wasn't much booing, really. We've done that one. At least we didn't lose it. In recent years, we would have, says Mark. And looking at last season, Belinda, I think you compare and contrast. My goodness me, it's a big contrast, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the defensively is definitely still our weak point. Defending is still definitely our weak point. But that's kind of expected with Holloway as well. He is a sort of defend from the front kind of person. But I think overall we've strengthened it out so much so that we actually are strong enough in the back that we are, stopping things from coming in. And frankly, I'm much happier at the moment than I was a year ago. it was the hope of last year of, oh, please, can we just not go down? And obviously we didn't. So the hope is this year that this is our blip. Our blip being draws, as someone said, is great. And I think with a game like this, it was just one of those games that happens. Like it's quite difficult to explain. It's just you're going to get your games where your players all come out and they're kind of average. The other team's players come out and they're kind of average. And I will say I think a 0-0 was inevitable on the basis that we are two very high scoring teams that also concede a lot. It was always going to be a 0-0 because irony is beautiful.
And we should say well done to Connor Ripley early on, because he made a good double save, didn't he, which prevented them from scoring. We'll get on to one of the turning points that I thought in a little while. But I always remember a famous game at Newcastle many years ago. I was doing the commentary, and I think the two sets of forwards between them have got over 100 goals. Shearer and White for Swindon, Quinn and somebody else for Newcastle. I can't remember the name. So I said this is bound to be a high-scoring game. Guess what? It was 0-0. So you can never tell, can you? Lots of comment. Go on, Craig.
I've never been cold. That 0-0 away. It was a Saturday in early December, and I was freezing my brass monkeys off. That was but it was a really, really entertaining 0-0. As I remember.
You can have good 0-0 draws. There's no question about it.
That was a good 0-0 draw.
And actually, to begin with, I think it's fair to say that Colchester started the bright of the two sides, didn't they? They really did get off on the front foot. Let's have a look. Right. Hi, Tony. Both played and cancelled each other out. Stalemate. The ball is not running to us. Need a bit of luck. Hi, Adrian. I must have been hard of hearing, completely exaggerated. Hi, Darren. I didn't hear any booing. Must have been minimal. The performance was absolutely dire. Miss-hit passes galore. Perhaps Holloway should concentrate on that. 2 cup games coming up. Move on. This time last year, I thought we were dropping out of the league into another oblivion. People need to give their heads a wobble. It came from the middle back end of the Arkle, says Sean. So there we are. I thought the atmosphere was poor on Saturday. Very quiet, says Ian. And the fans need to get behind the team. Too quiet, says Peter. There's another side to that, though, Craig, isn't it? You have to get something to get excited about. And it is a two-way street, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not an advocate of drums or bells. So I think we have to. The reason I'm saying that is I think we, as you said, there needs to be something to kind of engage with and to cheer on. Yeah, it's difficult, and it's sociologically there's 8,000 strangers united by a love of football and their team, and in a building that's open on all sides. It's definitely difficult to kind of generate that kind of noise and atmosphere. Short of getting a goal, and actually if it's 0-0 and there's not much going on, it's just kind of you do end up scrolling on your phone and counting how many pigeons are sat on top of the town end and stuff. And it's we've all been there, those boring 0-0 games, and the last thing you want to do is like make a song and dance about it. So I'm not somebody who's going to decry fellow supporters for not making more of an atmosphere, because it's give and take, isn't it? And it's a kind of reciprocal thing. There's a bit of excitement on the pitch. There's a yellow card, or there's a goal line clearance. People get excited, but if there's nothing going on, it's difficult to kind of generate that from a standing start, I think, isn't it?
I once missed a goal actually because the game that we were watching, I can't remember which one it was so dull that we were trying to remember the name of an actor in a film. So I was busily looking up on my phone who the actor was in the film, and therefore missed probably the only goal of the game. So that'll teach you, won't it?
Yeah.
Really? Another one from John, who's in good form tonight, and he says, I should also mention that Andy's picture is crystal clear, and I should take note and clean the equipment. Well, you're probably right, but have you never heard of soft focus, John? They use it in the movies all the time, apparently. Right, always typical. Crowd figure jumps up, then we'll say no more. Not that first time I felt stupid when I told someone how well the town are playing. He turned up to watch the Barnet game. Laugh out loud. Yes, we've all been there too. Walsall atop then, by pure one more goal in their goal difference. 26 points from 14 games played, 6 goal difference. That one goal, of course, when you think back to the opening game of the season, we lost 2-1. There you go. Swindon in second, 26 points from 14 games, goal difference of 5. Salford in third place, 25 points from 14 games, 2 goal difference. And then we get into the playoff places. MK Dons, 24 points from 14, 12 goal difference. Notts County, 24 from 14, 10 goal difference. Then come Grimsby, 24 from 14, 9 goal difference. And Chesterfield, 23 from 14, 3 goal difference. Very tight, Andy, at the top.
Very tight indeed. Yeah, I think a lot of teams, we seem to be cancelling each other out, don't they? It's there doesn't seem to be any one team that is really taking the ball by the horns and sort of driving forward as Walsall did last season, even though it all came to a shuddering halt. So yeah, very tight indeed. It's not going to be any easy games, I don't think.
That's the problem, though, Belinda, isn't it? You lose a couple of games and you sink back into mid-table by the look of this, the way this is going.
Yeah, I think it's 5 points between first and 13th, which, that's 2 losses and people getting 2 wins, and you're down there. So it's quite scary, but I find it also quite exciting.
It is.
I think it's a bit more interesting that you could become the team that comes up on top, or there's other teams always on your back tail. I think it's going to create quite an exciting season.
Yeah, and we're second in the league. Well, joint top, whichever way you want to look at it. And as we said, 12 months ago, if you'd have said that was going to happen 12 months' time, you'd have been very, very happy with that, I think it's fair to say. Some other stats from Saturday. Swindon's possession, 52.6. Colchester, 47.4, which, bearing in mind the way Colchester started, I'm surprised about. Shots, Swindon 9, Colchester 9. On target, Swindon 1, Colchester 1. There you go. Touches inside the opponent's box, Swindon 8, Colchester 23. Saves, Swindon 1, Colchester 1. Passes, Swindon 464, Colchester 419. The accuracy, Swindon 76.7, Colchester 74.2. And the yellow card, Swindon 1, Colchester 0. Now then, you won't have seen this, Craig, so I won't involve you in this particular bit of the discussion, if that's all right with you. But there was an incident in the first half, Andy, where Drinham was going through and he had his shirt pulled and he didn't go down. What was your view of that? The referee and the assistant referee never even gave a free kick.
I think that seems to be a part of how things are. The amount of times that we've seen players being pulled back and it's just plays allowed to be continued, I don't think it's out of the normal. Certainly within the last 12 months of watching Swindon, the amount of times that we've seen a player hurt or coming through, pulled back, play on. Is that right? I don't think it is. If he's pulled back, then it should be a free kick, in my opinion. So for some reason, referees seem to be letting that go a hell of a lot more than they used to.
Yeah. What about you, Belinda? What was your view of that?
I think that there's definitely a difference in League Two in comparison to, the Championship and the Premier League, the further up you go. I think it was Holloway. It might have been Holloway that mentioned, or I might be completely making that up, last season, about the fact that you can be a little bit more hands-on in League Two. You can use your hands a bit more. You can get a little bit more aggressive, which don't know if I agree with that. I did my master's dissertation was actually on injuries in sport and the legality of it and stuff. But the idea of there is a duty of care to the people. A lot of it is safety. If he pulls his shirt back and it ends up, he gets whiplash or that knocks his head, and a whole array of stuff can happen. That's why the rule is in place. So for it to be lenient, as we've seen in League Two fairly recently, I think it is a problem. And I think overall the referee was fine. There was no major issues. As you can tell from the statistics there, it was just 2 very similar teams. I do think we probably were a little bit better, but I might be biased on that front. I think we had 2 or 3 chances that could have got us a goal, whereas I think they only had one sort of near the end. There was actually Iandelo's ball into the box, and I'm like, he never did anything like that for us. I say that I quite like Iandelo, actually.
Yeah.
But I think the whole game, you can look at things and be like, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but it was kind of always just going to end in 0-0 with how it was played. But I do think that the physicality is an issue in League Two. I think it needs to be addressed more by referees, because they do let a lot more go.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought the referee was okay. It's just that one incident, really, which you could point to and say that could have changed the game. But then, hey, if Ollie Palmer's shot goes the other side of the post, that would have changed the game right at the end. So, ifs, buts, maybes, as you quite rightly say. Kevin says, Ian Holloway said he watched the game back, said we were dreadful, which it was. So you can understand why some people were unhappy with that performance. Darren, I thought the fans did get behind the team on Saturday, to be fair. What gets my goat, says Tony, is slow play, passing back when you can go forward. Back again to Ripley. That's my gripe. Be a good atmosphere Saturday, looking like it'll be well over 1,000 there. Come on, you Reds. That's Sean. And, of course, that's Rotherham away in the FA Cup. Rotherham on Saturday, by the way, won 1-0 at Barnsley. Their first win at Oakwell for 50 years. Kean Spence got the goal on 64 minutes. They're 15th in League One with 17 points from 13 games and a goal difference of -3. And bearing in mind, Craig, they had a bit of a wretched start to the season. They're picking up.
It's about time their bubble was pricked, I think, or burst, wasn't it, really? I think they've had a bit of a good run in form. When we drew them, I think they were second bottom. We've had a bit of a slump in form. We've got 2 free hits now. We've got the Tim Pot Trophy on whenever it's Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then we've got the biggie, the big cup game on Saturday. I think that's it's an easy hit. I think that if we don't progress, that's not unusual, because we never progress in the cup. But if we get a result there, I think that'd be fantastic. And I think Rotherham will be worried going into that. Yes, well done, you beat Barnsley. That's a massive result. I lived in Sheffield for many years, and I get that local South Yorkshire rivalry, and I'm very much looking forward to going. But no, I think we're going to win comfortably. I know you didn't ask me that, but I think I'm going to predict a solid 2-0 win, I think, for us.
Did you go to the New York Stadium last time we played there when we won 4-0?
No, it's going to be a first time. I went to Millwall many times.
Yes,
never. In fact, I saw a women's international at Millwall so long ago. In fact, that at the time, women's internationals were only 80 minutes long, 40 minutes per side. That changed in about '93, I think. But looking forward to going to that game.
Yeah, Millwall, of course, the place we got promoted in 1969 with a 1-1 draw. Chris Jones getting that goal. So, fond memories, Millwall. But even fonder memories of the New York Stadium last time out, a 4-0 victory. That was excellent. Well played on that day. Let's have a look. Adrian says about Joel McGregor, Andy. What's your view of Joel at the moment?
He just doesn't seem to be the player he was. Whether it's a lack of confidence, I don't know. But Saturday, he would take the ball, run, and every time he was, challenged, he just couldn't hold possession. And that seems to be, and when he's challenging for the ball, it's the same. He's not winning any challenges whatsoever. I noticed they swapped sides, didn't they? Him and Snowden. Just after he'd come on. But no, I don't know what it is, whether it's a confidence thing, he's not playing regularly, he's had some injury, I don't know. But he's certainly not the player that we saw, who burst onto the scene when he first came into the team a couple of years ago. Definitely not.
The thing is, Belinda, we want local players like that to do well, don't we?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it shows the strength in our squad and our the youth teams and our club as a whole, which obviously then is going to attract more young talent to us that we can then grow. I think I have to agree with Andy. I do think it's a confidence thing at the moment. He's obviously not been starting because we've got Monroe and Snowden, who are both at the moment better. I think when he came on, they put him to replace Monroe, which he's right-footed, very heavily right-footed as well. It's not like it's almost the opposite of Ellis, as we mentioned him earlier. He was always incredibly left-footed, and he does not have a right foot. It's completely the reverse here. Putting him on that side, you could see he didn't know what to do when he came on, which is why they switched so quickly. And then he was, slightly better, ended up kind of being average along with the rest of the team, really, by not having the best game, probably not having the worst game necessarily. It's annoying because I do really like McGregor.
Yeah.
He when he plays well, he plays really well, and he can get through players and he causes problems. Recently, he's just not been doing that. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what needs to be done there. It could be game time. It could be training.
Is this the risk of having a big squad, Belinda? Is this, you mentioned about game time. I mean, we haven't got the football combination anymore. We haven't got museum set up, and is that the risk? Look what happened to the table. He's off to Bath City. Nothing's really happening for him there, and we get these fantastic young players, and we can't play them because the more senior players are playing well. But you need a big squad because you need to have backup. But when the backup comes on, they're not to scratch. It's a challenge, isn't it? I say this because I'm a veteran at playing Championship Manager, so I understand that the players will lose morale if they're not picked up. But life's like that, isn't it? But it's difficult because we have got a great squad, and every week you'll look at the strength of that bench. That's great, but actually, if you're not playing every week, if you're not getting at least half a game a week, that's going to affect your confidence. That's going to affect your sharpness, I'd imagine, as a 59-year-old academic who doesn't play football. But I mean, I'd imagine that would be the case, wouldn't it?
Well, it's interesting actually. Listening to Will Wright the other week when he said, he hates not playing football because that's what it. But at the minute, you can't really sort of say, when he was out of the team, there were 2 clean sheets in a row, so he couldn't really criticise the fact that he wasn't playing. But he says the fact that he was taken off against Bradford City after 84 minutes last season, so 6 minutes away from a perfect season, still really hurts. So that brings it home, doesn't it? They all want to play football, but if you're second top of the league, you've got to go with the team that you think is the best team on the day. And like you say, the bench, when you compare it to 2 seasons ago, goodness me, what a quality bench that is. You've got Ollie Palmer you can bring on and people like that. It's tremendous, really, isn't it? Right, should we talk FA Cup? I think there's not much else to say about Colchester, really, apart from there wasn't much else to say, really. Was there, Andy? You've got anything else to say on Colchester?
No, not really. Split and take the point.
Yeah. Any more from you, Belinda, on Colchester, or should we move on?
We've talked more than we needed to about Colchester.
Yeah, you're probably right. Ian says, need the big squad now. The injuries are coming, which is a fair point. Given all the injuries we have, I'd say our squad is getting smaller. Thanks to Samson for missing a sitter. We got a vital point. That was right at the end, of course, wasn't it? The header, which went wide. Right, that's Colchester done and dusted. I don't think we got.
Oh, I will add something.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, go on.
Come in my head. I thought Bowden played really well. I think he was the only player that stood out as looking like he was having a good game. That's because everybody else can normally play like significantly better than they played that day. But I think he was creating everything. A lot of the chances we had, particularly in the first half and start of the second half, were all from him. He looked quite interesting to watch, and I'm quite excited to see him again. And as Craig was saying, because we've got such a big squad, I don't know when that will be. I don't know when he'll next get to play. But I think he did really well. I just wanted to put that out there.
And one other thing from Saturday, of course, it was a great Don Rogers birthday, and I think he had a really good day. So what a player. That's all I can say. And Glenn Hoddle today, Craig. I mean, what memories of Glenn Hoddle, his birthday today?
So many memories. I remember the goal against Sunderland, the first game of the season. the August game rather than the playoff final. Everyone remembers, of course. But the first game of that season, we played Sunderland at home, and he just found a bit of space on the edge of the box and just curled in a fantastic shot. But I can remember like pinching myself, thinking, how has this happened? How have we got such a magnificent player playing for us? And I've got a photograph of him that I use in my lectures about writing how to write a good literature review, and it's about kind of creating space. Right, so creating a gap in the literature. So I put this photograph of Glenn Hoddle and talk about how he made space. But of course, today's generation of students, particularly international students, have got no idea who Glenn Hoddle is. But it's good because I wasted 2 or 3 minutes of my lecture talking about the great Glenn Hoddle and how I had goosebumps watching him play, and I couldn't believe that someone as majestically talented as him was wearing a red shirt. But happy birthday, Glenn! I'm sure he is watching.
Of course he is. He's always watching.
Happy birthday, and he's
delayed his birthday meal so he can watch this.
Of course. Well,
Andy, you must have memories of him. I mean, to me, people talk about long ball football, but his long ball football was a 60-yard accurate pass into the path of the raiding fullback. I mean, it was an extraordinary ability, and I remember that happening at Torquay once when Swindon won 6-0 down there in the League Cup. Yeah. And it was just a magnificent ball. Kerslake crosses it into the middle, Swindon go 1 up. It's that simple. What are your memories of him?
Yeah, unbelievable player. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him as much as I perhaps would have wanted to at the time through one reason or another. But the times that I did see him play, unbelievable. As I said, he could have put a ball, onto a sixpence, couldn't he? He was just, the space that he used to find and the passes he used to put in was just absolutely unbelievable. And age, coming towards the end of his career when he came to us, still an unbelievable player.
Yeah, Belinda.
Well, I am a little bit young I don't think I was even alive when he was playing for us. But I've been brought up well by my dad, and I'm very aware of how magnificent Glenn Hoddle was. And what I've now learned today is that Glenn Hoddle's birthday is the day before mine. So that's
happy birthday!
My birthday is surrounded by Swindon legends, and I'm
wow.
like, wow. I'll just become the next one. It's okay.
Belinda, you are a Swindon legend. You are a Swindon legend, Belinda. Happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Have a great day. Yeah. Actually, we shouldn't remember that on the 31st, I think it's the great Steve Finney's would have been Steve Finney's birthday, who has sadly departed some years ago. But what a player he was too. Walking in a Finney wonderland. We all remember that chant, don't we? Right. So, should we talk cups then in the remaining time? Tomorrow night we have West Ham in the Virtue Motors Cup. I think we qualify if we win tomorrow, if my maths is right. And then we go to MK Dons on the 11th of the 11th, and that will effectively be a dead rubber. What are your thoughts on West Ham under 21s, Craig? Do you care?
No.
Okay. We'll move on then.
I hope we win, but beyond that, I hope we don't pick up any injuries, and I hope the fringe players get a good game. And of course, I hope we win, but I'm much more concerned about the New York Stadium on Saturday, to be honest.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because I've always thought this is the most realistic path to Wembley. So
it only becomes exciting for the last 2 games, isn't it? It's just reserve team football until then. And no one
but out here is the dilemma. Do you stick with the side that got you there, or do you stick with you see? Yeah. We all know what a disaster that one with Paolo Di Canio turned out to be, don't we? At Wembley. What's your view on it, Andy?
It doesn't come alive, does it, until the latter rounds? I think when we got to Wembley before, we played Barnet, didn't we, in the semi-final? I think we had about 11,000 at home.
Yeah.
So it will. You'll get the crowds if we do. If there's that inkling of and a performance at Wembley, but up until then, doesn't. How many's going to be there tomorrow night? 2,000 if we're lucky.
Yeah, it's interesting because the last game we played at home against, remind me, who did we play? Reading. It was a very good crowd, wasn't it? It was about 3,000 people. Yeah, so, but, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Are you going, Belinda?
I will not be spending my birthday watching
No,
a
no.
game that I don't really care about.
Why not?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm
Not
not.
with your hair that colour, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the cup, to be honest. I think I think it's just gone a bit strange with all of the under 21 teams. I think I've spoken on here before about the fact that I don't like that Premier League under 21 teams are in it. I think if it gets to the later stages and we could, we're sort of in the knockouts of almost getting to Wembley, then I'll start paying attention, which makes me sound like a happy clapper or whatever. But it's good to have a cup run. It's good to have people getting game time that wouldn't otherwise get game time. There's definitely benefits to it, but I don't care. Is the short.
Okay. Fair enough. Your birthday. I think it's fair to say that your birthday is a much more important moment for you tomorrow. Well done. Yeah. Now then, let's have a look at last year in the FA Cup first round. It was Swindon 2, Colchester 1. After extra time, you might remember, Joel McGregor scoring for Swindon and Shamanga on 106 minutes. Remember him? That was, I think, Ian Holloway's first proper game, because Gillingham, he sort of coached from the stand, didn't he? And kept running up and down the behind the fence. And then, of course, in the second round, we went to Accrington and lost on penalties. So the FA Cup, has it still got its magic, Craig, or is it a devalued competition because the Premier League teams don't really care?
It's interesting because it's the same. It's just
argument in reverse, isn't it?
It's the scaling up the discussion we've just had. It's still got the magic for me because I think the chances of us winning it would be magical and unlikely. But we've seen. I mean, we were royally turned over by Man City that 4-1 home defeat. McCurdy's goal was magnificent. The save by the penalty save by Ward was brilliant. And even though we lost 4-1, we tried to play out from defence, and we left with egg on our face. What a great night that was! What a great experience! And we all want that again. I mean, it would be nice not to be humiliated on national TV for once, but it would be nice to soldier through a couple of rounds, draw a team from the Championship or the Premiership, and beat them at home, and then go out in a blaze of glory in the fourth round, because we'd always get to the fourth or fifth round, didn't we? And it seems so long since we've got that far, and it's just a nice distraction to have. So for me, it has got the magic. I know if I was supporting a kind of a Wolves or a Burnley or something like that, probably it's just a distraction because they're not going to win it either. But for us, it's a money spinner, and for us, it's a chance to kind of, because we are a cup team historically. We are a team with a great cup tradition. I think over the years we've forgotten that and we've lost that, and our averages have fallen so dramatically. But no, I'm confident, and it is still magical. And I've got cup fever, Vic. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
I'm old enough to have been at the quarter-final against Leeds United.
Wow.
When we lost 2 goals from Alan Clark in the space of about 2 minutes.
Was that about 1970, something like that?
It was 1970, absolutely. The quarterfinals of the FA Cup. The year after we won the League Cup. Then we won the Anglo-Italian Cups. What an era. Goodness me. The FA Cup, Andy, does it do it for you?
Yeah, I still love the FA Cup, especially the first round. First round and third round for me, because you got the first round with all the non-league teams coming in, and it's always good to get a draw against a non-league side. And the third round, when the Premier and the Championship sides come in, and you've got what non-league teams there are left, and the League 1 and 2 sides pitting their wits against the top boys. So for me, yes, I really love the FA Cup. I can always remember it as a boy, back in the 70s, sitting there on cup final day from early in the morning right the way through till tea time, watching cup final. It's a knockout and goodness knows what else, So to me, it is wonderful, and I love the FA Cup. And I think like Craig, we will get a result at Rotherham.
Well, we will get a result, Andy.
A positive result.
There will be a result. Actually, that Man City game, I know you mentioned it, we did get a stuffing, but what a night that was. Post-COVID.
Yeah, brilliant.
Post-COVID, everybody was back in a football stadium. There was that wonderful picture of the Manchester City goalkeeper emerging from that red smoke, if you remember, after McCurdy had scored. It was a fabulous night, and that McCurdy moment will live with us forever, I think.
We don't get enough of them anymore, do we, Vic?
No.
You know, the last 10, 15 years in both the League Cup and the FA Cup, we've not really done a great deal. So it'd be nice to get that back.
Belinda, FA Cup.
Yeah, I like a cup for the League Cup and the FA Cup for very similar reasons. The FA Cup, I do like the potentially getting a non-league side away that you can just go to a random stand that you would never have otherwise been to. That can be quite fun. And then getting a Premier League team. And I mean, my first game, the game that got me into Swindon was the League Cup against Stoke City away when we had Paolo back in, I think, 2012, I want to say. We won 4-3. And I vividly remember that game. It was the first proper game that I had seen, and I basically became it was such a brilliant win because it was really dead heat most of the game, and then we ended up getting a last minute winner right in front of us. James Collins got a hat trick. It was beautiful, and it's things like that changed my life. It made me fall in love with this club. It made me fall in love with sport as a whole. I'm hoping to do my career in sports law, so like it's even just taken that point as well. So I know how big some of these games can be and how impactful they can be when you do have your games against some of the bigger clubs, and you are one of the small ones, and you do kill those giants. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, it might not, but it's always fun that it could if we get there. But we have to get to the third round first, and we haven't been doing that much recently. So
no, and actually, you mentioned the League Cup. For the entirety of my 60s, we've not been in round 2, and that's 10 years. It's very sad, isn't it? It should, just throw.
Well, how do you think I feel? That was my first experience, and then we've had nothing since. Nothing.
Craig, you just reminded me of that magical night against Fulham. Best, Marsh, and Moore, and we stuffed them 5-0. But I just remember George Best hitting the crossbar from about 45 yards. He was extraordinary that night. But what a performance that was, wasn't it? It was magical.
And I think that was my Stoke City moment, Belinda. Seeing Swindon Town. I think that was the season after we'd drawn 2-2 with Everton the year before. And then they beat us away, and Kenny Stroud got the goal of the season on a sandpit of a pitch. And then the following year, I think we'd had a couple of non-league sides, and I can't remember if we played in the 4th round, but I think Fulham must have been a 3rd round tie. Rodney Marsh, George Best, Bobby Moore, just incredible. I mean, icons of 7, just world-class players. And we stuffed them 5-0. It was fantastic.
It was magnificent.
And it was just, they're just, I think Belinda was my Stoke City moment. It would have been 76, Vic, I think 76 or something.
Around about then, yeah.
77, I think.
Yeah, and just magnificent moment. And you remember those things.
Wigan a few years back when they, won the cup the following year, didn't they? And Paul Benson got a deflection and made it 2-1. Fabulous performance. They were in the Premier League. We weren't. Right. Thank you very much. We're going to draw this to a close in a minute, but lots of things coming in. I was quietly confident with the draw 2 weeks ago, but Rotherham's up to our slump. I can't see us winning, says Anthony. Glenn's 3-5-2 formation teams didn't know how to play against us. Great time this Mark. They had to kick Barnet fans out of their end in the first leg to accommodate us that time, says Sean. Said it before, the best game I've seen, Birmingham City 4-1 down, beat them 6-4. Glenn Hoddle came forward, didn't he? What a player. Forever, I shall regret not being there for that one. But every time it gets mentioned, it hurts. So can you stop mentioning it, please? Play Arsenal or Spurs away, just a big side. Everton away would be good. A new ground, but we haven't got past round 2 yet, so let's not do that. Did you know we're in the top 20 for FA Cup wins? Bizarre with how it's been in recent times. Wow. What a night was at Stoke, and Belinda, it's a dream. You know, I'm not sure what you refer to there, but anyway, it's a dream. There you are, Chris. A busy night, really, and Oxford City away for the women in the second round of the Women's FA Cup on the 23rd of November.
One thing I did forget to say before is we've been kindly donated 2 tickets to the Paul Merson event on Wednesday night, this coming Wednesday. A couple of people can't go, so they've donated their tickets that we can raffle for Prospect. So if you do want to go to that, tickets are £5. They're general admission tickets, so raffle tickets are £5. So go on our website, and we will pick the name of the winner tomorrow evening and let the winner know immediately after. So
Mark has just apologised for mentioning that Birmingham game.
Why? Oh,
Well,
I get it now. That's okay. Yeah. So yeah, so if you do want to see Paul Merson and you haven't got a ticket, join our raffle and help us raise more money for Prospect.
Cool. That reminds me of an old advert. If you haven't got a ticket, join our raffle. What was that? If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, you join our club. Yeah.
Club biscuits. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
That's the one.
I can't sing, by the way. Right.
Can we just look at Belinda's face? She hasn't got a clue what all this is. What are we on about? It's just like an old
I'm just smile and nod, smile and nod.
I can sing the Naughty Dog Kid as well if you want.
just go along with the old folks, Belinda. You'll be fine.
Bless you.
Happy birthday tomorrow, by the way.
Yes, have a lovely day, Belinda. Thank you very much for joining us. And we thank Taylor for joining us earlier as well. Vic and I will be back next Monday. We will see you then. We will see you tomorrow night if you're coming to the West Ham game, or at Rotherham on Saturday. So take care, everybody, and see you soon.
Bye.